The Canadian Hurricane Centre says Hurricane Lee has started its expected pivot northward. It's southwest of Bermuda right now, but heading straight for the New England states and Atlantic Canada, and it's packing heavy rain and high winds. CBC's Ryan Snodden is in Halifax, keeping a close eye on this storm's northern push. He has more on what the Maritimes might expect and when.
That track obviously heading northward, so all eyes on that storm here in the Maritimes. The latest update, a Category 2 storm, sustained winds around 175 kilometers per hour, moving to the north. That northward turn so pivotal. And what we're expecting over the next couple of days as it works northward, it's actually going to be tracking through right where Franklin did. Remember Franklin a couple of weeks ago? We were talking about that. Well, Franklin churned up the water, upwelled some cooler water. That is to our benefit. Lee will track over those cooler waters below that 26.5 threshold hurricanes need for fuel. So that'll cut the fuel source off a little bit as it works its way northward. That's some good news there. So yes, that track does move north. There is, again, Category 2 storm, then 1, and still expected to move into the Maritimes as a Category 1 storm this weekend. Looks like early Saturday will move into our waters. Then it will transition to a post-tropical storm with tropical storm force winds as it moves slowly through the region Saturday night and through Sunday. The latest model tracks have been a little bit further west with this, and the National Hurricane Center track a little bit further west as well, which is, again, more so through the Gulf of Maine.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's about to hit, it seems, around Yarmouth. That's where I'm from. But what does that potential track farther west mean for the Maritimes?
Yeah, so obviously Yarmouth, Shelburne, Digby, that area, the south shore of Nova Scotia, will still need to really keep an eye on this one, Hannah, and up into the St. Stephen area, St. John as well. That is still where we'll still have the possibility of seeing some of those strongest gusts exceeding 90 kilometers per hour warning criteria. Could still see some gusts over 90 kilometers per hour across the rest of the Maritimes, but it looks more like a 60 to 90 threshold, and then maybe some coastal gusts exceed that. This is more of a wind that, yeah, could certainly knock out power, but not do damage. We're keeping an eye more so in this area in red for the possibility of more damaging winds and more widespread outages here closer to Lee's track. So again, if this tracks further east, that could move back towards Halifax, and there's still a few days left, so we're keeping an eye on that. The one thing that the further west track does do is push that heavy rainfall threat out of Nova Scotia. We've had historic rainfalls this summer. The ground is so saturated. Had heavy rain in New Brunswick as well, but more so Nova Scotia. The track further west will put that heaviest rain more so towards New Brunswick and back into Maine. So the other thing we'll keep an eye on with this track, and Hannah, that will come into greater view over the next couple days is the storm surge potential. And that really will come into greater view later tomorrow, more so into Friday, as we get the nitty-gritty details in terms of the arrival time and how that will coincide with high tide, which is, of course, critical.